Good organisations are ones which recognise that excellence is a goal in itself, something that can be pursued in all that it does. The very good ones are able to articulate that and communicate that throughout the organisation and make sure that people understand what it is, the role that they can play that will enable that to happen. That communication is probably the key challenge that faces leaders within an organisation. How do you take something as abstract as the pursuit of excellence? How do you take something as abstract as the pursuit of shareholder value and turn it into something tangible for each individual member of staff to want to try and strive to achieve that for you? It's a huge challenge. It's a bigger challenge in the MNC than it is in an NGO. In an MNC, the ultimate aim of most MNCs is to increase shareholder value. Most employees do not turn up to work with the first thing in their minds thinking, what can I do today to ensure the shareholders' value goes up? They have an awful lot more things going on in their heads than whether the shareholder is happy or not. So how do you translate one from another? It's down to the success of the relationships you build. By understanding what it is that does motivate them and finding a way in which you can link their personal motivation to the organisational aim gives you a real strong platform to harness the energy that they have to deliver the results that the organisation desires, which is back down to this relationships thing. All interactions, as I've said, between any human being are determined by the strength of the relationships. And good leaders are the ones that are able to develop those relationships across their entire organisations to link not just the organisational goal, but to link the personal drives of all the individuals to delivering that goal. This is true whether or not the organisation is an MNC or whether it's an NGO. But let's have a look at that relationship a little bit to see where there is a key difference, because I think that there are some key differences between the way in which corporates operate and the way in which NGOs operate, which I think gives the NGO the edge when it comes to this idea of excellence. Taking a look at the MNC to start off with. MNCs, large corporations, ones that are growing, apparently have unlimited financial resources. The reality is, of course, that they don't have unlimited financial resources, but they certainly have substantial financial resources. And they can use those financial resources to invest in their organisations to try to pursue excellence. So they invest in infrastructure, they invest in technology, they invest in better qualifications and better staff. Does that lead to excellence? The drive of an MNC, generally speaking, boils down to making a financial profit. There may well be some esoteric rationale for why they're in business in the first place, but fundamentally, a business is in business to make a profit and to deliver value for the shareholder. And as I've already said, most people who work for these businesses do not go to work connected to that drive as an automatic right. So as a result, you have the best infrastructure, the best technology, the best qualified staff, but no connection between the staff and the drive of the organisation, and you'll end up with mediocrity. Take a look at the NGO as a contrast to that. The NGO does not have unlimited financial resources. In fact, I can safely attest, having had 6 weeks in my current job, that we are very, very limited in financial resources. But where we are strong is in our spiritual resources. Staff come to work for NGOs because they are connected automatically with the cause the NGO espouses. So the drive that the NGO has to deliver a profit in a social sense rather than a financial one that benefits society, one that uplifts people, one that has an overall impact, is something that is inherently connected with the people that come to work for it. In other words, the leaders within those organisations have to work less hard to make the link between the personal drive and the organisational drive to be able to harness the abilities of their staff. Is it any wonder, when you take a look at some NGOs, the amazing things that NGOs are able to achieve with apparently very little resource? The reason is very straightforward. Every single person who works for an NGO has a vested interest in achieving the excellence outcomes that the NGO wants to achieve. And they're driven from the heart. It's an umbilical link between the people and the organisation. And that, I believe, gives NGOs the edge over any corporate organisation. Corporates may have resources, financial resources, but NGOs have the spirit and the drive in order to deliver excellence. Just to conclude, to sum up what I'm saying here. Undoubtedly, organisations cannot achieve excellence without organisation. As an organisation grows, the bigger it grows, the more it needs that organisation in place. If its aim is for growth, without organisation, it will fail in that aim. But even with organisation, unless you harness the passion of the people that you have, and the passions of the people are not necessarily about delivering your corporate objective, unless you harness that passion, you will not create the vested interest in driving up excellence, and you will not be able to achieve excellence in the long term. Thank you very much for giving me your time and for listening to me. I hope that's been interesting for you.
Yeah, David's one of the key ideas is talking about the role of a leader as to how he harnesses people for strategy. I think that's an interesting part of the existential dilemma often, in the sense, how much can my people own the strategy? How much even going a step before strategy, which is owning up the recent artery of existence of the organization. What are we organized for? That meta purpose, which one has been speaking about, is by articulating and co-creating that meta purpose. The only way to have them fully involved in the whole thing. Thus, the purpose of an organization, even commercial organization, have to end up primarily being enhancing shareholder wealth. And also this dichotomy that he presented, the MNC and the NGO. There are many MNCs whom we do see which act with a lot of social purpose. And there are many NGOs who actually act very corporate. So some of these dilemmas I'd like to leave here and come back and pick up the threads as we go on.